It all started on a cloudy Monday morning, the kind that made the air heavy with tension and whispered that something wasn't quite right. At Jefferson High, most students dragged their feet to homeroom. But in room 203, where English was taught by a kind and gentle teacher named Miss Rowan, something cruel was about to unfold. Miss Rowan had always been the calm in the storm of teenage chaos. She wasn't strict, but she was firm. She never raised her voice, but her words always carried weight. For many students, she was a safe space. The kind of teacher who remembered birthdays, noticed sadness behind fake smiles, and always had an extra granola bar in her drawer. But not everyone appreciated kindness. 3 boys, Trent, Jaden, and Kyle, ruled the hallways with loud laughs, mean jokes, and hearts filled with insecurity disguised as arrogance. They weren't just bullies. They were the kind who needed others to feel small so they could feel big. They'd already made half the class cry, but Miss Rowan never let their cruelty shake her. Until that day, it was 4th period. Miss Rowan stood at the front of the class, writing a quote from Maya Angelou on the board. People will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. The room was unusually quiet, everyone absorbed in her words. Or so it seemed. What no one noticed was Trent, crouched behind Miss Rowan's desk with a pair of scissors taken from the art supply room. The other 2 boys kept a lookout, pretending to drop their pens and leaning forward, as if searching for something under their desks. And in one swift moment, it happened. A sharp snip cut through the classroom silence, and a piece of Miss Rowan's long floral skirt fell to the floor, exposing her knee and part of her thigh. Gasps erupted. A few kids laughed, not because it was funny, but because they didn't know how else to react to something so cruel, so sudden, so public. Miss Rowan froze. A beat passed, then another. She bent down slowly, picked up the torn fabric, and turned around with a face that held no anger, only heartbreak. But behind that heartbreak, there was fire. She didn't shout. She didn't scream. Instead, she looked each student in the eye and said in a low, steady voice, "You'll remember this moment for the rest of your life. So will I." Then she walked out of the classroom, holding her dignity like a shield. The principal was called. An investigation followed, but no one would admit who had done it. The 3 boys stayed silent, smirking. They thought they had won, until the next day, Miss Rowan returned, wearing a navy blue pantsuit, her hair pulled back with precision. But this time, she didn't walk in as the soft-spoken teacher. She walked in with a new energy, firm, grounded, unshakable. She placed a box on her desk and pulled out a large portable mirror. "Today's lesson," she said, "is on consequences and reflection." One by one, she called students to stand in front of the mirror and read aloud letters written by anonymous students about how bullying had impacted them. The letters were raw. A girl who'd considered self-harm because of cruel rumors, a boy who stopped eating lunch because he was mocked every day, a student who dropped out because they felt invisible. The room was still. The boys started shifting in their seats. Then she called Jaden up. His face turned pale. "I didn't write anything," he mumbled. "You don't have to," she replied calmly. "Just look at yourself in the mirror and ask, who am I when no one's watching?" He stood there, squirming under the weight of the silence. His cheeks flushed. Sweat beaded on his forehead. The same happened with Kyle. Then came Trent. When he stood before the mirror, something broke inside him. Maybe it was the quiet. Maybe it was the weight of the truth. But suddenly, he stumbled back, hands shaking. A dark stain spread across his jeans. The room went dead silent. He had wet his pants. Miss Rowan didn't smirk. She didn't gloat. She simply handed him a hall pass and said, "Go clean yourself up." No more words. Just dignity. In the days that followed, the trio's power crumbled. Students who had once feared them began standing taller. Teachers spoke more openly about respect, kindness, and boundaries. A new school policy was introduced: peer counseling, anonymous reporting, and weekly sessions on empathy. As for Miss Rowan, she didn't ask for applause. But her strike, a strike not of fists or fury, but of truth, grace, and strength, echoed louder than any act of revenge could. Trent, Jaden, and Kyle were suspended, but something deeper changed. By the time they returned, they were shadows of their former selves. Trent even apologized, not just to Miss Rowan but to the entire class. "I thought strength was about being feared," he said. "But she showed me real strength is walking through hell and never becoming the devil." Miss Rowan didn't just teach English that year. She taught character, resilience, and the silent power of standing tall, even when others try to tear you down.